Jai Hind everyone. This is your science teacher Anamika Parmar and this is our new video. In this video, we're going to learn about respiration in organisms. Okay, let's start. Each cell of an organism perform functions like nutrition, transport, excretion and reproduction. And for this purpose, it needs energy. Our food is stored energy which is released during respiration. Breathing is the process during which we breathe in air having oxygen and we breathe out air rich in carbon dioxide. The air rich in oxygen is transported to all part of the body and ultimately to each cell. This oxygen is utilized by the cell for respiration. The process of breakdown of food in the cell of an organism with the release of energy is called cellular respiration. So, the main definition of this, the respiration, is the process of breakdown of food in the cell of an organism with the release of energy is called cellular respiration. Okay. Respiration is required for living organism to survive. It takes energy from the food and release it. Glucose is broken down into carbon dioxide and water with the oxygen we breathe. In the process, energy is released. Glucose is broken down in an organism cell known as cellular respiration. Food is broken down by anaerobic respiration during strenuous activity when the supply of oxygen to our muscle cells is insufficient without oxygen. Okay, so this is the diagram of cellular respiration. Now, type of respiration. So there are two types. First is external and second is internal respiration. So what is external respiration? External respiration is often known as breathing. In the process of taking oxygen from the air and exhaling carbon dioxide back to the atmosphere, gases are exchanged in and out of the blood at the same time. Now, internal respiration. Food is broken down in body cells by numerous chemical processes during internal respiration. Internal respiration is divided into two categories. The first is aerobic respiration and second is anaerobic respiration. So first we understand what is aerobic respiration. When the breakdown of glucose occurs with the use of oxygen, it is called aerobic respiration. During aerobic respiration, glucose is completely broken down into carbon dioxide and water and energy is released. Sorry, energy is released. It takes place in mitochondria. Mitochondria is the part inside the cell. Okay, it can be shown by this equation. So this is the equation of aerobic respiration. Okay, glucose in the presence of oxygen going to give carbon dioxide, water and energy. So here the ATP is the energy, okay, जो कि produce होगी inside the cell. Aerobic respiration is seen in most of the organisms such as human, dog, cat, lion, elephant, etc. These all the animals or organism in which aerobic respiration seen. Okay. Now the second is anaerobic respiration. When a breakdown of glucose takes place without use of oxygen, it is called anaerobic respiration. Okay. And the glucose is not completely broken down into carbon dioxide and water. An intermediate compound is formed with the release of less amount of energy during this process. Yeast and certain bacteria carried out anaerobic respiration. These organisms that carried out respiration in the absence of oxygen are called anaerobes. Okay, so those organisms who carrying out the respiration process in the absence of oxygen are called anaerobes. Yeast is a single cell organism, we all know, right? During anaerobic respiration, which is also called as fermentation, yeast produce ethanol or alcohol, okay, ये दोनों same है, as a byproduct which is used in making wine and beer. The carbon dioxide produced by yeast is used in the bread making industry and the CO2 gas released during this process cause the bread dough to rise. Okay, so this is the equation for anaerobic respiration. Now we going to move forward. Anaerobic respiration in muscles. Okay, so generally we all know that humans में aerobic respiration perform किया जाता है, but कभी कभार temporary time के लिए anaerobic respiration भी होता है inside the muscle. Okay, now we're going to learn about this. Usually aerobic respiration takes place in humans, but under certain conditions anaerobic respiration may also occur in our muscles for a short time due to temporary deficiency of oxygen. Okay, so because of the temporary deficiency of oxygen, our muscle cell or in our muscle cell for a short period of time, anaerobic respiration also occur. When we perform a heavy exercise like running, cycling, walking, or weightlifting, etc., we require a large amount of energy. To meet the energy requirement, our muscle cells perform anaerobically respiration, okay? But it is for a short period of time. This during this process, the glucose or food in the muscle cell is partially broken down in the absence of oxygen to form lactic acid and some extra energy is released. So, here the effect of lactic acid on the muscles, the accumulation of lactic acid in muscles cause muscles fatigue, or the second word is muscle cramps. Okay, now breathing. So, as we know that breathing is the part of respiration. Okay, breathing is not respiration, it is a part of respiration, a very important part. Okay, it is a process in which air rich in oxygen is taking in, okay, and air rich in CO2, which is carbon dioxide, given out with the help of respiratory organs. Thus, breathing involves two steps which takes place alternatively. And what are the two steps? You all know. The first is inhalation, taking in air rich in oxygen into our body is called inhalation. And exhalation is the second step, giving out air rich in carbon dioxide from our body to the external environment is called exhalation. Okay, and with this with the help of this diagram you're going to learn better what is breathing. Okay, now we're going to learn about breathing in other animal, and the first is cockroach. Insect like the cockroach, grasshoppers, etc., have tiny holes on the sides of their body. Their opening are called spiracles. The spiracles on the body of insects are connected to a network of thin air tubes called trachea, which spread into the whole body of the insect, where the exchange of gas takes place. Air rich in oxygen rush through the spiracles into the tracheal tubes, diffuses into the body tissue and reach every cell of body. Similarly, CO2 from the cells enter into the tracheal tube and moves out through spiracles. Okay, so a cockroach doesn't have the proper nostril or the lungs. Okay, they have other respiratory organ which perform breathing. Now, earthworm. Earthworm and leeches also absorb the atmospheric oxygen through their moist and slimy skin. So यहाँ पे ऑक्सीजन को absorb किया जा रहा है with the help of skin, because gases can easily pass through the moist and slimy skin. They absorb the atmospheric oxygen through their moist skin and transport it the blood to all the cells. Okay, now frog. A frog like human possesses a pair of lungs, but when they are in the water they breathe out through their moist and slippery skin. देखो frog में दोनों ही चीजें हैं. They also have pair of lungs, लेकिन जब वो पानी के अंदर होते हैं so they breathe through their moist and slippery skin. When they are on land, they breathe through their nostrils and the pair of lungs. Okay, I wish you understand this well. Now, fishes. Okay, so you all know fish. फिश जो ब्रीदिंग करते हैं या जो मेन रेस्पिरेशन होता है वो होता है थ्रू गिल्स. ओके. So fish are the aquatic animal that live in the water. These have a special organ for breathing called gills. The oxygen dissolved in water enters the gills. Gills are actually the projection of skin and have blood vessels for the exchange of respiratory gases. The fish breathes by taking in water through its mouth and sending it all over the gills. The oxygen dissolved in the water is extracted by the gills, and extracted oxygen is absorbed by the blood. So, fishes with the help of gills breathing करती हैं. Okay, and this oxygen is then carried to all the part of the fishes for respiration. The carbon dioxide produced during respiration is brought back by the blood into the gills and expelled into the surrounding water. Okay. Now, this is the last topic of this chapter, respiration in plant. Okay. As you all know, plant perform photosynthesis by which they make their own food, है ना? But you should also know that respiration is also takes place inside the plant. Okay. So, respiration in plant. All the organism in the world respire, whether it is an animal or a plant. Plants also take in oxygen from the air and give out carbon dioxide. They also break down glucose into CO2 and water and release energy to perform other functions. Okay. The respiration in plants differ from the animal because in plants respiration occurs through leaves and roots, etc. Okay. They carry out respiration independently. Each plant part can independently take in oxygen and air, utilized it to obtain energy and giving out CO2. Okay, so क्या होता है plants में? They don't have those respiratory organs, right? लेकिन they have leaves, stem, roots. ठीक है. So independently अलग अलग plants के parts जो होते हैं वो breathing करते हैं, and जब breathing होती है, this is the diffusion of gases. With the help respiration occurs in plant. Now, respiration in leaves. The leaves of the plants have tiny pores, okay, on their surface, which are called stomata. है ना? We all know. The exchange of gases, which is O2 and CO2 in the leaves, takes place through stomata. During respiration, the oxygen from air enters into a leaf and through stomata and reaches inside all the cell of the leaf through diffusion, while CO2 produced during respiration also diffuses from the leaf to the atmosphere through stomata. Okay. Now, respiration in roots. Roots also respire. Okay. Root cells of the plant respire under the ground. They also need oxygen to carry out respiration and release energy for their own use. Root cells get oxygen from the air present inside the space between the soil particles. So soil particles के बीच में छोटा छोटा space होता है जहाँ पे air trapped होती है, and this air is going to use by roots for oxygen intake. Plant roots have a large number of tiny hairs on them, which are called root hairs. And oxygen from the air present in the soil particle diffuse into root hairs and reaches to the cell of the root where it is utilized for respiration. Okay, so I hope you all understand well. Okay, so this is our chapter, respiration in organism. Thank you so much.